How you doing? You know, I'm going to open a can of worms with this one, I think, all right? This one here is the big enchilada, amigos, all right? So you have to forgive me in advance if this stings a little. You're gonna have to cut me a little slack if this convicts or challenges you, because I'd never want to do that. No, what I'm about to talk about is things people don't like to talk about. It goes up there with religion and politics. It's one of those things you don't talk about if all you want to do is make friends. No, this one here, this is a little different, because the love of this thing, the love of it, you know what I'm saying, is the root of all kinds of evil. But on the other hand, without it, you can't do much good. All right, you crack the code yet? You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, money. M-O-N-E-Y. Yeah, the almighty dollar, the cash, the cabbage, the greenbacks, the gravy, the loot, the moolah, whatever you want to call it. You know what I'm saying? I got my own personal favorite, the dead presidents. The higher number on the dollar bill, the goofier the president, the more hands want to touch it. Go figure. You know what? We ask a lot of questions about these presidential papers, don't we? Yeah, how are we going to spend it? How am I going to use it? My own personal favorite? How am I going to act like I don't have any so my relatives don't bother me anymore? Or how am I going to miss the offering plate every time it passes by? And of course, the dominant Republican question, how am I going to invest and how do I keep it from the IRS? Yeah, money, the big, big question. But there's one question we always leave out, at least I do. Whose is it? I mean, whose money is it really? That is the million-dollar question, pardon the pun, right? I know some might say, hey, it's my money because I worked hard with these hands. Yeah? Who gave you the hands, buddy? All right, you're smarter than some. Who gave you the brains? You're driven. Who gave you the ambition? Right, I know you can arrange a lot of things on your own, but you can't tell me you arranged your birthplace, who your parents were, who your friends are going to be, what schools you went to, the technology that was going to be there, the people that came before you to pave the way, the people are here now to lighten the load. You didn't arrange that, did you? Should I go on? No, I don't think so. You know, I suppose all I'm trying to say is this, people. All right, I got a big wake-up call last year. I got my kid an Xbox 360. I threw it on the floor. Boom, that's yours. I got every possible, imaginable accessory that there is. Everyone you can think of. The cordless, wireless, bang-bang, the flip-flop, the yip-yap, everything you could possibly think of. Even threw in an HD plasma so everybody could see it beautifully. A couple of dozen games. I said, hey, we're off to a good start. One day I come home and I said, hey, son, you mind if I play the game? You're only sitting there over in the corner. Maybe Dad can give it a shot. You know what he says to me? No, that's mine. Wait your turn. Needless to say, I did a 180 on the 360. And now that sucker sits comfortably in my own personal home theater. And I'm the only one with the key. You know why? Because everything in that baby is mine.
Finally, somebody who can talk faster than me. Encourage you to take your outlines out of the worship folder. We're starting this series of ABCs of financial freedom. And if you've not plugged in already to one of our life groups or one of the table groups here on Wednesday night, I encourage you to get plugged in. This is so important. Pick up your book. Today we're going to be talking about the first letter in the ABCs, and that is the letter A, and that stands for our attitude. Fort Worth Star-Telegram, just this last year, had an article in it that says the following. A South Carolina priest missed the $1 million top prize in a poker tournament to be televised this weekend, but he won $100,000 for his church, and he hopes that his participation gives the viewers a fun twist on their perceptions of the priesthood. The Reverend Andrew Trapp said he entered the PokerStars.net $1 million challenge in hopes of putting St. Michael Catholic Church super close to its $5.5 million fundraising goal for a new building. The top prize went to retired New York Police Detective Mike Kosowicz, but Trapp won $100,000 untaxed in a semifinal in October for the Coastal Church, which has a $4 million after a 4-year of fundraising. You ever wonder why people have a misconception about the church and money, about clergy and money? This is just that thing that perpetuates that. This is part of that problem. I can assure you that I have never participated in a poker tournament, online or offline, and never intend to. I do play Go Fish with my kids, but not for money. And so that's not an issue with me. But today we're going to start this life-changing series called the ABCs of Financial Freedom. And I think if we'll listen and apply these principles, amazing things can happen in your life and in our church as well. We're coming out of what many have called the worst recession since the fall of the stock market in 1929. It is devastating. I have to tell you, it's amazing. We're facing unemployment still at record levels. You've seen the paperwork just recently. Hasn't gone down at all. Doesn't look like it's going to. Foreclosures at our all-time high. If you read the newspaper, it sounds like we're in for a whole nother round of such things. The real estate industry remains at a standstill, if not falling backwards. Many people owe more than they own of their homes. We're upside down. We understand that here in Arizona. Banks haven't started lending in yet. Businesses appear to be on hold when it comes to hiring and expanding and building because they're afraid about what's going to happen in the future. They're unsure. And we live in a horrible time financially. And many people within our own congregation are struggling with these same financial issues because of the situation, economic uncertainty. Things are really tough right now. I understand that. And that's why this series may be one of the most important series that we could do this year in terms of our families, in terms of our church. And I don't want you to miss a single message. Today, message 1, week 1, we're going to talk about how to live in such a way that God can bless. How can God pour out his blessings on us? How do we live? And next week, we're going to talk about how to get out of debt forever. Does that sound good? How to get out of debt forever. And week 3, we're going to talk about who's behind our financial problems and how can we solve them. And then week 4, we're going to talk about the most important step on the road to financial freedom. And then the 5th in this series, we're going to have a special guest speaker here who has gone through this principle and it's transformed his life, his family, and his church. And you'll enjoy him as well. The problem is that the average person doesn't believe that they have a problem when it comes to their finances. Most people think, if I can pay my bills, if I'm current on my bills, even if I'm just paying, interest only on the credit cards, if I'm current, then I'm okay. And if I have enough money to go out and, grab a bite to eat, to go out for a nice restaurant or catch a movie or go to a show or something, if I have enough money maybe to take a little vacation, not an expensive one, just a little vacation, if I have enough to do that, then I'm okay financially. But I have to tell you that I've never met anyone with an addiction that admitted that they had a problem until they started to get over it. And that's where many of us are today. USA Today interviewed a book last year by Brad and Ted Klontz entitled Mind Over Money. This is amazing. I want you to listen to the review. I'm going to read it. You can see on the screen. This is what they say about this book. Don't feel bad if you have money issues, the Klontzes say. They're not your doing. According to the authors, the accusation that financial difficulties are your fault and stem from you being lazy and crazy or greedy is stupid. It's the big lie about personal finances. So the Klontzes say it isn't your fault. You're not to blame. The review continues this way. In a chapter called The Zoo in You, they also say that you have a crocodile, a monkey, and a scientist in your brain. That explains a lot, doesn't it? When it comes to your money, more often than not, our impulses and our emotions, it's our inner crocodile and our inner monkey, not the inner scientist that is running the show. These people are noted financial experts. And they say that when you mismanage your finances, it's a monkey gone wild in your brain. Do you realize how ludicrous this is? Now, the fact is, folks, that when it comes to our finances, instead of blaming everyone else for our problems, wouldn't it make more sense to find a solution? And the solution comes by changing our attitudes and by actually asking God for help with our finances. The solution is changing our attitudes and actually asking God for help with our finances. But here's the problem. And that is if you suggest to someone that they have a problem with their finances, more than likely they're going to get offended. They're going to get upset. I know because I preach on them every year and I get the notes. Church, I can't believe you're talking about money. And people get really offended and upset. We're pretty touchy when it comes to our money, aren't we?